Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. The company which is responsible for post in the UK is called Royal Mail. It used to be a government company, it was public, and now it's private. Today in the news, Royal Mail have just announced that they'll be using drones to reach areas which are too remote to access. Orkney Islands in the north of Scotland is the first place where they've been trialling drones. And after this successful trial, they've now decided to use drones to deliver the post. Now, these drones won't be delivering the post to people's doorsteps, but they will be transporting mail between the postal offices, from the mainland over to the islands. Now, this is quite a big step, because up until now, they've been transporting mail using boats and sometimes planes. So, to meet with our government standards on being eco-friendly, drones are the most effective because they don't give off gas emissions. Everyone's really excited and happy about this, and there's many pictures of these drones carrying Royal Mail boxes across the sea. It's certainly a wonderful idea. I'm not sure how it compares with boats and aeroplanes, but it does seem the logical next step. It's also putting drones to very good use. I like to watch drone photography on YouTube, but I'm getting rather tired of middle-aged Canadian men showing me pictures of leaves which are changing from green to orange. I'm sure that's very exciting for some people, but for me, I like to see drones doing something positive to change our society. Getting used to seeing drones, though, is another thing completely. I mean, these drones, which Royal Mail are using, seem to be quite purpose-built. They look heavy, and they look like flying insects because they have all of these legs or tentacles sticking out. I don't really feel very comfortable with that. But then I said the same thing about Bart Simpson from The Simpsons when they first started appearing on TV. That little boy with the spiky hair and triangular feet. It was kind of a strange feeling that I had about him as well. But now I watch The Simpsons happily, and I'm sure in time I'm going to get used to these drones, especially when I start seeing them whizzing above me. And in fact, I think that's already started. I mean, I'm not seeing too many of them, but they definitely are being used around here. I don't know what for, but where I live, there certainly are drones, especially in the countryside. It does seem the next logical step, doesn't it, in this crazy universe that we're living in, that things move forward and the idea of them is taken higher. The Royal Mail and the company that's helping them, which is called Skyports, they're both saying that this will improve delivery times and certainly will be very good for locals living on the Orkney Isles, because the drones will transport letters and parcels, and then the local post offices can get to those quicker rather than waiting for a boat that's delayed because of the weather, and start their deliveries. So it looks like it's a win-win for everyone who's involved. We use the word win-win, it's like a little idiom, when we talk about how successful things are in a particular situation. If it suits both groups of people, both parties, then we can say, oh, it's a win-win situation because nobody loses. The cost of sending a letter in the UK now is over £1. So to send something first class, which gets there in a day or two, costs over £1. So you can see why people generally don't do that anymore. And also to have to wait maybe, let's say, 1 day or 2 days for something to be delivered seems rather strange, especially since we're living in a time when if we're talking to each other, let's say on Skype, we can say, oh, I've just sent you an email. And the other person says, oh, I haven't had it yet. And then you reply, really? Well, I sent that about 5 seconds ago. You should have it. And then the other person says, oh, no, I don't. And then immediately you say, okay, I'll send it again. So we don't seem to have much patience with waiting for real letters to be delivered. And why should we have to wait 24 or 48 hours anyway? Surely that idea, that system is dying, especially when Amazon can do it same day in some cases. So I think the Royal Mail is going to be changing, and that opinion that we have to wait 24 hours for a letter is going to be disappearing. That's what I think. The future is all about the now and living in the now and seeing things in the now. Not only in posting a letter, but I think also it's going to be the same with education. As we say in English, time waits for no man. Some people say tempus fugit in Latin, which means time flies. Both of those expressions are used just to talk about how quickly things are changing, especially in this digital revolution that we're in at the moment. I see they've also started to phase out landlines here. To phase out means to slowly remove landline telephones. Yes, that's right. We don't have one company that provides telephone services, although there are a few big players. But a decision's been made that we no longer use landlines. So everyone has cell phones or mobile phones, as we call them in British English. So I can see that they're also removing landlines. So everything really is changing. I don't think I'll miss a landline, but probably I would miss the postal services, especially since I like to keep up with these British traditions of sending cards. Christmas cards, Easter cards, happy divorce cards, happy new life cards, happy new pet cards. And if you go to any British main street or supermarket, you'll see cards for sale for every possible conceivable life situation. So it's very, very interesting. So I think probably I would miss those, yes. When I was a little boy, I remember buying cassette tapes. They quickly turned into CDs, and then I didn't have to go and buy them. There were clubs. They would send me, I think it was a box of CDs every month. I would buy the ones I wanted and send the others back. And now, of course, you just simply stream music from a variety of sources. So it's a very different model these days. So in the same way, I expect our Royal Mail is going to be going from handwritten letters being delivered by drone, and then being delivered more electronically, so that I can write something here, and somehow or other that real thing will manifest itself. I mean, I can do that anyway with email. I'm sure I could handwrite a document using Samsung Notes, attach it to an email that someone else could open. But we don't think of doing that because typing is so much easier. But it looks like the handwritten note is going to take a lot longer to die. Who knows? Well, that's it from me. It's time to face the day, so I'm going to go and make some bread and some delicious food for dinner. And I wanted to cut the grass because it's getting very long, but yeah, it's very wet outside, so I can't. So I think I'm going to have to leave that for another day because it needs to be dry, but I'm a bit ashamed of it. And culturally, here in the UK, bad gardens are thought of in a bad way. And if you don't look after your garden, you can get into trouble, especially if you're living in a neighborhood which has very nice gardens. I mean, they won't come and fine you, but the government can order you to tidy it up and keep it clean if it's a mess or causing a problem with other people. So I need to get my garden fixed at the earliest possible opportunity so I can pretend to be normal. And that's it from me. I'll see you all soon. Bye.